Hey Scott and everyone else, welcome to 4 Running Shoes. So yeah, this last week has been pretty good for me. Not heaps of running happened because I mentioned in my last video that I was going to go away on a conference for work. So yeah, it was just not much room in the days I found. I was hoping that I'd be able to get out early in the mornings or even late in the evenings, but just never really fit in, to be honest, especially around like meals and that sort of thing. So I decided to just go easy on myself this week, skip the runs. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to running because it was in a nice area. It was a nice, scenic area, bushland, that sort of thing. So yeah, was excited about that, been in a rainforest. But yeah, just didn't come off. But I did run once this week and it was on Saturday. So I did a 5-kilometer run and it was the first park run that I've been able to do in the last I haven't done a park run in a few years now. But with COVID, all the park runs in Australia have been cancelled, but I was able to do one this last Saturday. So if you haven't heard of park runs are basically a 5-kilometer timed event. It's free, and you just go along and you print off a barcode, make an account online, and yeah, you run the race and you get it scanned afterwards, and then you get your results uploaded and you compare it to other people and how they did and how what the course averages are and those sort of things. So just a really fun event. It's really interesting. And to be honest, I didn't realize how much I missed it. So I had a really good time. Just going and even kind of competing. Like, it feels like a race that you're in. Obviously you can take it very casually as well. Most people do. But yeah, I'm pretty competitive and it was actually really nice to push myself to run a good time. So how did I do? I actually did really well. I was really surprised. The course itself is a really difficult course, like the hardest park run actually that I've done. It's our home park run and I've done it a lot, so I'm pretty used to it, but it's always a tough run. So the way the course goes is that it's 2 loops of really nice botanic gardens, and it has a really steep incline for one of the parts, a hill, and it just goes on for a long time, and it's fairly steep at the start and then it sort of levels off a little bit. It's still uphill, and that goes on for quite a lot more time. And then you just go down really steeply, and then you do that a second time. So it's a loop with a steep up and down again. And so yeah, it's a difficult course, and I expected it to be a fairly slow time, to be honest. Compared to my usual time, usually I would add about a minute to a run. My expected time for a 5-kilometer race compared to my first run of the year, when I tried to push myself and get a good time, was my time for a 5K was 23 and a half minutes roughly. And usually I'd add about a minute to that, so I was expecting 24:30 on this course, or even I'd be happy with 25 minutes. But I actually pushed myself and ran pretty strategically, and I managed to get less than 23 minutes actually. So that's my PB for the year, which is nice on a really tough course as well. So yeah, it's really encouraging to see, I do actually have a lot more in me than I thought I did. And even on a tough course that I expected to do a lot worse on, I got a really good time. So happy with 23 minutes. There were people sort of running around my pace. They were pushing me a lot to do that. So, but it wasn't actually like I was dead at the end of the race. I find that course, I know it really well, which is a real benefit, and I'm able to run strategically for that course. So we haven't really talked much about strategy, Scott, on this channel, but yeah, strategy is a big part of running, and how you run your race is actually, it really matters. Generally, you obviously want to be running fairly consistently throughout a run. You don't want to sprint at the beginning and run out of energy, which is what I often do in my time trials. But yeah, for this course, I know it pretty well, so I know that the hill can really drain you if you push really hard. So my strategy is to just go super easy. You'll get to push yourself a little bit, so when you get to the top of the hill, you feel like you've run up a hill, you're pretty tired, but ultimately take it easy so that you're not dead the second time around. And then when you're going downhill, actually take it as hard as you possibly can is a real strategy that I like to employ, I guess, because I find no matter how fast I run down the hill, if I can hold, like if my legs can cope with the speed, I'm actually still catching my breath, even though I feel completely dead and out of breath when I get to the top of the hill. Even I can run down this hill pretty much flat out, like 4-minute pace or something, and actually be catching my breath, which is crazy. It's really cool. So I really like that course, and it's nice to see some people like pushing you, trying to overtake you as you go up the hill and then sprinting past them down here. I really like that element of this run. And yeah, it's just one of my favorite runs actually, even though it is difficult. So yeah, that's a bit about my strategy for this run, and yeah, it's really fun to get back into those sort of running techniques and strategies, and I'm looking forward to that more as we can do more events and those sort of things going forward with restrictions changing in Victoria, which is yeah, really nice. So I'm looking forward to doing more park runs, and yeah, Scott, we should do one together sometime. That'd be fun. Yeah, and even just adding it into our weekly mileage, if it's something that suits you too, Scott, you should try and get back into that if it's helpful. I find it really helpful for my running. Awesome to hear about your running in your last video, Scott. You've been super consistent with your mileage and yeah, hitting your goals. So yeah, I want to encourage you with that. You're doing a great job. Good example to me. And yeah, I think, yeah, even though it's hot, you've been pushing through, and I'm sure even as you go back into your school term, you'll be able to keep pushing through, even though you've got work on and that sort of thing. So yeah, keen to see your improvement as you keep pushing yourself. So yeah, looking forward to what the next few weeks and months will look like for both of us. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video and Scott's next video on Tuesday. This next week, I'll just try and keep at it, three runs or so, fairly high mileage, well, compared to this week at least. It's 15 or so kilometers or more, and yeah, I'll just see how I go with that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. See ya.